that will make sure that you and your client are protected.
I'm Maud Léger, and this is the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast, where we crack the code to real estate success. Learn from top realtors, entrepreneurs, and innovators about how to grow your business as we discuss real estate success stories, mindset, processes, motivations, and the key to their success. Check out our podcast episodes every Monday to crack the code to success for your real estate business. This week, I'm speaking with Alessandra Ocampo from Vantage Law. Alessandra's approach to the buying and selling process from a legal perspective is very different. She focuses on creating partnerships with realtors to provide everyone involved in a transaction a smooth and proactive process. Whether it's about communicating upfront, finding solutions to potential problems, or helping realtors along the way, in the end, it's all about creating long-lasting relationships for her. Mistakes can be costly for realtors in so many different ways. So find out more and let's get to my chat with Alessandra. Hi, Alessandra. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today. Tell us, how can realtors stay on top of their game?
Thank you so much for having me today. There's a lot of different things that I see on a day-to-day basis as a real estate lawyer that can help realtors with staying on top of their game. So I would say, obviously, this market is crazy. It is hot. We all have to move really quickly to get deals closed, whether it's at the offer stage, whether it's closing. A lot of times I'm getting short closings that are 3 weeks. So starting from the very beginning, I think the best part is for realtors to remember that the agreement of purchase and sale is a contract. So let's take the time to make sure that we know exactly what it is that's included in our APSs to protect our clients and to ensure a very smooth process. So like the one thing that I actually was talking to my team about it this morning. Right now, it seems like a lot of realtors are always using like the same Schedule A. You know, it's always the same, this, that, and the other, right? And obviously, a lot of it is very, very important. However, I don't know if they all read through it. So
Probably.
Exactly. So I think that the one part in there is with respect to COVID, because obviously things have changed since COVID, right?
Yes.
And there are a lot of realtors who now are just so confused about what happens with the exchange of keys when their Schedule A explicitly says that the keys will be left by way of lockbox because of COVID. So I think that's, if we're going to start at the very beginning of the process, let's start with reading what it is that we're putting together.
Yeah. Do you get every confusing statements? Like some of them would say lockbox, but then they don't do the lockbox, or what comes up?
Yeah, so it's more so, it's not that the clauses are conflicting. I think more so they themselves don't understand what the process is going to be like on the day of closing. So especially if you are the listing agent, we need you to leave a key in the lockbox or leave a lockbox, right? So if that's not happening, there's no physical exchange of keys between lawyers anymore, because obviously everybody is trying to limit how many people they are encountering on a day-to-day basis. So just being aware that that is what the process is. And I'm sure that, you know, as a listing agent, you don't want to be scrambling on the day of closing to make sure everything is going smoothly. You may have to see another client or do other showings that are across town.
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure that everything is correct for the benefit of your clients and like no one's panicking, and for yourself, really.
No, totally. I get it. You have
Yeah.
a different approach to the buying process from a legal perspective. So what would be your approach in that?
So at Vantage Law, we really, really pride ourselves on making sure that the process in its entirety is as easy and seamless as possible for our clients. Not just our clients, also for, you know, our team. So whether that is the realtor, whether that's the appraiser, whether it is the mortgage agent, whoever is a part of our process, we want to communicate with everybody throughout the process to make sure that it goes smoothly. And if there is a bump in the road, that maybe we don't have to panic the client, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to do that, right? Like as realtors and as a lawyer, I want to make lifelong clients. So us being a part of the industry, we are a lot more well versed with the different problems that might arise with respect to the buying process or even the selling process, right? So a lot of times we're able to resolve things without the client having to be panicked.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's another like stepping stone. Obviously, we'll let the client know, but we'll let the client know, okay, this is what's happened, but this is the resolution, right? It's not just here's a problem. Let's freak out because nobody knows what we're gonna do. Exactly. So like, and you know what, I have that same approach with my team. Like if we have a problem, let's talk about it. Let's figure out how we're going to fix it, and prevent this huge panic amongst people that's really not necessary.
Yeah, I think like part of that would be the communication that you can collaborate with the lender, the mortgage broker, the real estate agent before even talking to the client. There's so many more steps in between.
Exactly. And sometimes you just don't have the full story, right? So you might just need a little bit more information
Yeah.
before actually going straight to the client to, get their input on it. So gathering all the information from all the different parties and then presenting it in a way where, it's not a huge deal, or it might be a huge deal, but like, these are the things that we have to talk about.
Yeah, and that would avoid, like I see it in a lot of transactions and in stories, there's always someone who will throw somebody else under the bus saying, oh, it's the lender's
Yeah.
fault, it's the realtor's fault, it's the lawyer's fault.
Yeah.
By being upfront and communicating with your team ahead, I think you're avoiding a lot of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've had many scenarios where the maybe one piece of the puzzle wasn't involved, or like isn't as familiar with working with us. So they just thought that, we could just deal with this by ourselves. And maybe they've dealt with a lawyer who isn't as open to, involved in an issue prior to it becoming an issue. And then it just kind of blows up to be worse than what it would have been if we just dealt with it proactively rather than reactively. Like we had a situation a few weeks ago where our client was selling, and there was some issue with a leak of some sort in the basement. And instead of speaking to us, the realtor went ahead with drafting an amendment for a holdback of, I think it was like $10,000, and on the day of closing. So I was already involved in the process, on my way to close this transaction. And then at like the 12th hour, we are then presented with a signed amendment by all parties, where it did not benefit my client whatsoever. It benefited the buyers completely. And my client was out $10,000. And at that point in time, if it's an amendment, there's only so much negotiation we can do when the verbiage used in that amendment is purely for the other side. So again, going back to the fact that like us always remembering that the agreement of purchase and sale is in fact it's a contract. So whatever that is, I have to abide by that as much as I can if the negotiation doesn't work out.
Yeah, totally. That's interesting. How do you support realtors or educate them through all the scenarios that you might come across during a transaction?
So if you were to speak to the realtors that we work with regularly, I'm sure that the consensus would be that, we are always happy to be a part of the process earlier rather than later. Having a conversation about what the scenario is, whether, like, for example, I had a conversation with a realtor last week where she was looking to put an offer on the property. However, there were tenants in the property that aren't that cooperative
Willing to
with
leave.
moving out.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are finding themselves in that scenario. So, her and I had a conversation, talked about the different angles, talked about the client's needs, because he wanted his mom to move in. It was a duplex, but his mom is not so mobile, so she's not able to, live in the upstairs, and really the concern was the people on the main floor. So we ran through different scenarios, we ran through what could happen come closing date if they don't move out, and we talked about what those people are like, because we can't forget that we are dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. So personalities and different things that people are experiencing in their life can come across as something that's affecting their decisions, right? So we talked about all of those things, and they came to a decision where we're not willing to take that chance, so we're going to move on and we're going to look at another property. So having these conversations, or having that buying team that we always mention, that helps you with the process, is so important because of situations like this. Or also, I like to always tell my realtors, like, let's review status certificates if you are going in with an offer.
Yes.
Like, let's not just waive things if we can help it, right? So, like, for example, I have yesterday was actually a big day. I had to review 5 status certificates for offers that were being made last night. So in these cases, because I have such a strong relationship with these realtors, I'm happy to get involved and review those status certificates so that they can go in firm. Because that's kind of what the market is requiring at this point, right? So, educating them to a point where they know that they can lean on me. We can have a conversation about the different scenarios that you are presented with. And then, like, the whole buying team can make a very sound and educated decision as to whether or not we want to proceed.
Those seems like huge advantages to be, again, proactive and working with you on a partnership level to help make it smooth. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, so I actually come from a hospitality background. So, for I think 10 plus years, I've been working in restaurants. So in working with the different restaurants that I've worked with, the customer service side of things was just always such a focus. So that's something that we really take to how we practice law and how we deal with our clients or referral partners on a day-to-day basis, to ensure that the process is always seamless. Because really, like, these are really most of the time $1 million transactions now, right? So just, having that conversation, or having a realtor that has that really strong relationship with a lawyer, is beneficial to all parties. And I'm not saying, like, obviously I'd love to partner with many realtors, but and whoever it is that you have working with you, having that openness and having that ability to always speak to one another is very important.
Yeah, that seems like a really good way with your, I guess, the feeling you get from dealing with people, like that knowledge that a lot of lawyers sometimes don't maybe have.
Yeah,
The people approach.
exactly. I won't speak to my profession about
Oh,
that, but
that's good. But it's good. It's an advantage for you. So, what are other benefits for realtors to be able to work with you and help them close more deals or win more listings? Like, what would be advantages of partnering with you?
I think when it comes, like, getting into this area of law, what I really loved was the focus on clients, because I feel like in other areas of law, it's just a little more legal and a little more dry.
Yeah.
Rather, with real estate, it's exciting because you're involved in, like, these milestones, these huge milestones for people, right? You're involved in them buying a new property because they've moved jobs, because their family is growing, because I've had clients from BC buying properties in Toronto because their kids are starting university here. So you're a part of all of these big milestones, and for these people. So there's just it, and it's usually a positive thing. Obviously, there are times of divorces and, less fortunate situations. But it becomes a business where you want to develop a lifelong relationship with everybody. And there's just something so positive about that. And for us and my team, I have a great team working with me. We close deals every single day. So, a purchase and a sale to us might not be that exciting because we do it every day, right? But if it's a first-time home buyer, we will always be super excited. Like, you're officially a homeowner, like you've gone through all of these different steps. And now you're actually here. So we want to celebrate in that with you. So that's what we really like. We don't want anybody to ever feel like, this is just another purchase. Oh, this is another condo, or this, that, and the other. We want everyone to leave with that feeling. And also, because our referral partners are our referral partners, we understand that our experience with the client is an extension of you, because you've said, Alessandra at Vantage Law will take care of you. We'll be able to answer all of your questions. We don't want to let you down. So we don't want to let our referral partners down. We don't want to let the clients down. We want everybody to leave happy.
That's amazing. That's great. Yeah, thank you. What about advice? What's the best advice you would give to a new realtor starting up in his career?
So what I would say is to definitely partner up with a lawyer who can walk you through different scenarios. I've dealt with, and don't be shy, ask these questions. Like, I've had a scenario where a new realtor completely forgot about a rental. So I think it was a furnace or a hot water tank, something like that. And the payout was like $6,000 or $7,000. And the client was left to pay it out because the agreement of purchase and sale was done incorrectly. So if he were to just ask those questions and, maybe not even speak to a lawyer, but properly speak with, somebody at the brokerage to assist with the process, right? Just ask the right questions, or just ask questions. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, just ask them. And then that will make sure that you and your client are protected, because in this scenario, the realtor felt so bad that he actually paid for that out of his own commission, because he did realize that it was his error. So, as a new realtor, there's so much to learn. I've been doing this for 5 years, closing multiple deals, and every single day there's something new. So to think that, you've done your exams and you've gone through whatever material is absolutely necessary to become licensed, to think that you know everything is just not an attitude to go into, especially in real estate.
Yeah. And I love your, even don't be shy. Like, sometimes they might be shy and it's a costly mistake, right?
Yes. $6,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, for probably half the commission. We don't know. Depends.
Exactly. Yeah. So you worked for free when you could have just had a conversation. So, that's really what it is. There's too much to know, really. There really is.
Yeah. What's the ideal 3 partners every realtor should have? Lawyer.
So I would say lawyer. Hi. So lawyer, real estate lawyer. I would say mortgage agent is very important, because especially with times now, what is happening is that a lot of lenders are backed up. So if you are going to rush into a 3-week closing, make sure your lender is able to accommodate that. And a really good mortgage agent will be completely straightforward with you to tell you exactly whether or not it's possible. Because if it's not possible, then unfortunately, you're going to have to push that out. You don't want to find yourself in a scenario where you have to rush to private lender, which is very costly.
I've heard a lot of those, yes.
Exactly. So, that always is a backup plan, but you don't want to have to buy a property like that, because it then just adds to the overall cost of you buying the property. So a mortgage broker, a lawyer, and I'd say the third would be your insurance broker.
Nice.
So because obviously insurance is very important. Even with my clients who are buying condos, I do recommend that they do get some sort of home insurance, because obviously even with a condo, there's limitations as to what your maintenance fees cover. And you want a insurance broker who can properly suggest to you what coverage you need. And it might not be strictly limited to just getting home insurance. They may recognize that you have this gap in your policies where you have no life insurance. Now you're going to be owning like a real asset. So having life insurance and any other disability insurance, all of those different products that they offer, having somebody who actually has knowledge in all of that to assist with educating you and like tailoring what you need is important.
Yeah, no, I like that aspect too. Like if you even you talked about buying a duplex, or if you're gonna rent or Airbnb, there's certain things you need to know about the insurance side of things.
Exactly. And like we've had scenarios where a client purchased, and the day she moves in, there's a water leak. She wasn't even home. So then she had to, make a claim, and wasn't in her house for over 6 months because of the water damage. Yeah. So, but in this case, if she didn't have, the proper coverage, she had amazing coverage. So everything was covered. She was staying at a long-term rental. She was getting like even food covered. Like, I don't even know what she was getting, but it was very beneficial because she had the proper coverage.
Nice. Yeah, very good to know. That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing all your advice. Where do we find you?
So we are active on Instagram, so at Vantage Law _. We're also on Facebook, and we have a website, so www.vantage-law.ca.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Alessandra. That was so great to meet you and to talk about all of this.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be part of this.
Thanks for joining. Subscribe to our podcast, Realtors Conspiracy, today.